Excellent. Let me
True.
just,
You gotta watch. Do you ever see a movie called Ida? It's like they leave that amount of headroom throughout the whole movie. It's
oh,
pretty.
wow.
The
Yeah, I need to
black and
fix
white
that.
movie.
Yeah, I need to fix that quick camera malfunction. But John, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I absolutely enjoyed the movie. Very fun, laughing, of course, some comedic elements in there. But I was going through the IMDb here, and I noticed you had the story credit for this. So where did this
Yeah.
movie come from?
Well, it's just Joel Soisson is the writer, so he did the heavy lifting. I worked with him in the past. He's a producer and a director himself. So we were doing this, but since we talk it all out and we come up with things, then I got a story by credit. But basically, it started with Danny, to make a movie with Danny, and I love Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven. I love people getting out of jail movies like The Getaway. So we kind of combined all that together with the Mexican culture a bit. In fact, there was talk about maybe doing it all in Spanish, but that didn't totally pan out. But we have it so half and half, somewhat. But yeah, but that's just to make a movie with Spanish culture, Mexican culture rather, with Danny.
Excellent, excellent, and that comes through in the film. It feels like let's say this the right way, very Mexican movie. A lot of those tropes in there, a lot of that culture came through, which was very fun, and the way it was integrated into the story. The movie premieres October 11th. Want to say that sort of in time for spooky season, and it's fun, like
Yeah.
spooky comedy film. So did Danny Trejo spearhead this? And that's gonna
No,
lead to some other questions, but
no, but it was the idea was to make a movie with Danny. So
okay.
so I think he was in. I don't know if there was a time when he wasn't going to do it, but you just never know until you're actually doing it. So we shot it in Oklahoma,
Okay.
uh, and and it was still on the tail end of COVID. So we were just trying to keep Danny from getting COVID
Oh
because
gosh, yeah, of course.
because you know people on the crew had COVID like 2 and 3 times,
Oh wow.
and so I've never had it yet. So you know, knock on wood, right? Or you know, composite wood. Um, but that would have been terrible. Uh,
Absolutely.
I didn't do
So
it.
so at this point, got to talk about the elephant in the room always. Danny Trejo has sort of ascended from just being an actor to like a cultural
Yeah,
figure, so to speak, in movies. He's been in so many great movies, Desperado, the list goes on. I grew up watching him, of
but
course. Well,
Machete.
absolutely, Machete, of course, a couple of those in there. Um, so what was it like working with Danny Trejo on this? What does he bring to the table?
Well, he's really sweet, actually. Um, I read his book. So every time he would be telling me something about himself, I go, I know, I know. I read your book. He was an arch criminal as a young man.
Yeah.
And he came from, out of around Los Angeles in an area called Pacoima, I think. And um he uh he was even on death row
Oh
for a
my
while.
God.
Yeah. And then they let him out. But that was because he was involved in a prison riot, and they just kind of do that. Uh but it was just it was the book eye-opening. But at the same time, if Danny can go from there to where he is now, even though that's like working on 7 cemeteries, that's like that's amazing. That's pretty mind-blowing. So anyone you think could do that, maybe, but using him as the template, I guess. But because there's a lot of people that, are in a lot of trouble, for whatever it is, they're addicts and stuff like that. But I have his cookbook too.
No, absolutely. Being able to turn your life around like that, to go from death row to being a movie star and a much loved figure in the world. You know, that's absolutely amazing. It's good to hear he's a sweet guy. You always wonder about these things, and I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of him having a bad reputation on set or anything, but that's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because and his son plays young the young version of him in the film, and his son was the B unit director.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
so he and a little crew would run around and get the birds flying out of the tree and different things. The little bobbleheads, is driving down the road, that kind of stuff. And yeah, and so his dad was super proud of him, throughout the whole. That was interesting to see that whole dynamic playing out.
Yeah, that's great when they're able to make it a family affair and help people get wrapped up and involved. And just to touch on that, you're right. His son is in the film, plays a younger version of him, and there's also other great actors in here I wanted to touch on. Some of the standouts for me were Sal Lopez as Abuelo. I think he did a magnificent job as the heavy, so to speak. Here,
He's great. If the heavy, can have really stupid lines, or depending on how you deliver them, man, he just delivered. I think we were so lucky, that he did this part, because we're just like, he would say some lines and we would just like look at each other, the camera crew and myself and stuff. And there's also like a scene, I don't know if you remember, there's a scene in like his house where it's surrounded by lions and things like this. That's a real room.
oh wow.
We just happened to go to this place that the fellow that owned this house, his daughter was a like vegan, and so
Okay.
he would get people to send him like animals that they'd hunted, like from all around the world, and he'd put them in this room to kind of like, play a joke on her for her birthday every year. They'd add another thing. So those lions and everything, those were all real. We went there. We moved them around, to put them in the best place. Like the little sort of deer in the headlights for the other guy, is behind him, and stuff. But yeah, crazy. But
that's awesome. That's an idea for me. Sorry, go
Sal
ahead.
has a theater company here in LA called the Latino Theater Company.
Okay.
And it's just, they do some great stuff too.
That's awesome. Well, that just sounds like a movie in and of itself. A vegan a vegan daughter and a hunter father or something like that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a recipe for comedy. And so I was looking through your filmography and whatnot. You've done a lot of cinematography and a lot of directing. You did the Freest franchise, Piranha 3 Double D, and whatnot. But maybe you could talk about the difference between cinematography and directing. Like, what are those equal challenges, or is the director more of a bigger bite for you to chew on?
I don't know. I think maybe the cinematography would be a bigger bite, but
Really?
I think the idea of doing both, I think it would just depend on the type of movie it was. When it's this type of movie, I think it'd be a little overwhelming, as far as because of how the train just had to keep going down the track. You have a finite amount of time, finite amount of money, and it just has to get done. Where if I was shooting my own little independent film, and basically I could spend all day on a shot, it'd be an awesome shot, but it's not viable for like a regular film and stuff like this. So, but we'll see. You never know, right? Got all the cameras here, I got all the lights.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I mean, just to touch on a couple more things, you worked with Efren Ramirez on this. I'm going to have a chance to talk to him, which I'm also very happy about. He plays a great character. I feel like he sort of ties it all together in a way. But all these different characters you've got luchadors, you've got bandits, the whole bit. I'm sure that was intentional in your art, but maybe you could talk to me about that process before we wrap up here. Like, how did you go about whittling down these sort of personas that you wanted to bring to the table here?
Well, I always wanted the luchadors. And I wanted, at one point, maybe they were all going to be luchadors. But again, things change, as you go and you see what's viable, what's not. And, okay. So I have the two luchadors. Lou, I don't know if you know about him. He wanted to be a baseball player. So we have that somewhat in there, um, Efren. Uh, the thing was is that people would always keep coming up to me and going, oh, Miguel, you know, he should have he didn't. Oh, anyway, I don't want to give everything away, but they would be upset, that is it's fate. Um, he deserves so much better, John. It's like, well, that's the way it goes.
Well, well, we unfortunately our time is short, but the movie
Oh,
did surprise me. The decisions you made, the storytelling decision in a good way. Movies about death and loss and achieving things and fighting for what's right, and it's also funny. Like I said, great, just in time for Halloween, so to speak. But yeah, any last words you want to leave us with?
um, no.
Okay. Well, it's coming out October
Let's
11th.
see the movie so we can make another one.
There you go. It's coming out October 11th. Encourage everybody to watch it. And John, thank you so much for your time. This is an absolute pleasure. You did a great job with the film. It was very much I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Take it easy, John. Best of luck with everything. This is Derek Scarzella. Thank you so much for watching this video. Just doing a quick outro. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Above all, we want to hear what you have to say about this video, this movie, what it meant to you. Also, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, of course, YouTube. Check out our website, actionagogo.com. And of course, you can check out my own novels, Knuckle Crackbone, as well as The Vicious Game. Links are all down below. We also have a merch store if you want to enjoy our glorious Action A Go-Go electric logo, which is going to come right after this. And of course, again, thank you so much for watching. It's super appreciated. Hope you had a good time. I know we did. Bye.